Hello. Hello, everybody. Are we live, Mr. Paul? We are. We are live. Just a bit of a delay. Okay, so let's see. Welcome, everybody, to a first town hall for Mirandus. Let's see. Let's wait a bit as people trickle in. Mr. Doug is letting people know in Discord and in other media that this is going on. We're live. We're gonna introduce the Miranda's team. But let's wait a bit as people trickle in. Let me check who is in Discord. Let's see. We have the Duke. Hey, the Duke. Hey, Gatsu. Bentit. Welcome, Bentit. Bentit saying, personally, I'm excited for this. We too, man. We too. I attended the Walking Dead one and it went really well. I'm happy to hear that. I'm hoping that this is as good for you as that one was. Let's see. I have a Ed's Dream 50. Hey man, Daxani, of course, our community manager. There's a Mr. Ming. Hey, Mr. Ming. Let's see. Subspace. Yep, we can hear you, says Subspace. Cool. That's awesome. And I see a Las Vegas Lance with an awesome GIF. Okay. Cool. So I think that that's enough time for people to come in. You can always check the and share the YouTube video later on. But hey, everybody, my name is Musashi. I'm in charge of the Santiago studio for Gala. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you again, and welcome new folks to Gala. This is the first Mirandus Town Hall. We'll be sharing what's going on with the game, answer some questions, present some news, and most importantly, introduce the team. Before we go on, as always, if I don't say like and subscribe, Mr. Paul will, he'll complain to HR, I think. Is that correct, Mr. Paul? Something like that he's saying. Okay, hey, Smiley Monster, Matastatics. Welcome, everybody. Let's see. Okay, so let's start with just some general background information. Some of you may know already, maybe some of you don't, but there was a shakeup in the Miranda's team at some point. I think that was like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago at this point. The former team exited, and we have a new team that is taking over the game. I'm going to introduce each one of the leads. It's a larger team, but the leads are here for different areas of the game. And let's just go straight to that. Let's see if there are any questions first. Oh, I see an immediate question. Substance, Musashi, what MMORPGs were your favorite? Which ones do you most want to emulate? Let's keep that for questions at the end. I'm just gonna say I'm a big JRPG fan, so mostly Final Fantasy, MMOs, and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna skip that for now because we need to go directly to the team, and we'll answer some questions afterwards. So first off, the current team is led by Mr. Fernio. So Fernio started working in the video games industry around 2009 as a game engine programmer. He was helping develop multiple Xbox 360, Kinect, and mobile titles before becoming lead engineer and switching to Unreal Engine for Rock of Ages 3. He also worked on Catalyst Black, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Splinter Fate, and Animation Throwdown, among other games. And this guy was developing game engines for the notoriously hard to code PlayStation 3, so he's a big head. Hey, Fernio, how are you?
Hello, everyone. Super happy to be here. Excited to be working on Mirandus. Lots of work ahead of us. So we're already heads down planning and creating the roadmap for all the features that the game needs.
Awesome. Welcome to Gala. Welcome to the Mirandus Madhouse. Yeah, as I said before, coding engines for PS3 is not a, it's not a short feat. So congrats, man. Then we have our front-end lead Arctic Micho. So Arctic Micho has over 10 years of experience in video game industry. Micho has worked on successful titles like Fallout Shelter. If I remember correctly, you were one of the main engineers in that game. Covet Fashion, Back for Blood, and an unannounced mystery AAA game for Microsoft. He's a passionate programmer and in-it leader with a strong technical background in multi-platform games development. Hey, Micho, how are you?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me well?
We can hear you.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, I'm very excited to be here working on Mirandus. I'm a huge fan of RPG games, including MMOs. So, being my favorite one of all times, Ragnarok Online. So, well, as I say, very happy to be working here on Mirandus. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to contact me through Discord, guys.
Awesome. Hey, by the way, that Mr. AAA Microsoft game, can you at least, give us a hint, tell us what genre it is?
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. I mean, I can't say the name, but at least I can say the gender. It was open world action RPG game, and I will say it's pretty much like exactly like Genshin Impact.
Like Genshin Impact. Okay, so
Yeah,
open world action RPG. That sounds, somewhat similar to what we're doing here. So it's good to have you as
yeah,
front and lead.
can be.
So
Yeah,
awesome, man. I'm really
thank you.
looking forward to playing that game. Then we have our backend lead, Kaisarian. So he's a backend engineer with around 10 years of experience in multiple industries, including video games, big data, and telecommunications. So he has led distributed system architecture development for games since 2016. And his latest project is AEW Figure Fighters, a game that also integrates items and collectibles within a blockchain. I did not get to work on that game, but I did set some of the basis for that. So I'm really happy to see that game came to fruition. And it uses blockchain. He's incredibly into game development and especially all things related to server side architecture and cloud security. So he'll be taking a look at Miranda's server architecture. Hey man, how are you?
Hello, everybody. Well, I'm really happy to be here and to be part of the Miranda team. I play video games since I have memory, and I met a lot of friends playing online games. So it's really great to be working in a game like Mirandus. So I'll be doing my best to deliver you guys a really stable and secure server structure to support all players out there.
Awesome. Welcome to the team, man. Let's see. Then we have Choco, or art director, with over 12 years of experience in the game industry and 8 years as an art director. He has worked on games such as he's an illustrator. He also brings a unique perspective to his work, and he has a fiery passion for art and fantasy settings, which I know really well because I know you love JRPGs just like
Yeah.
me and RPGs in general. So, what's your favorite game, man?
That is a really difficult question for me. I love Final Fantasy and Elder Scrolls, but it's really impossible to me choose just one. Maybe all of them.
So, every single game you play is your favorite.
Yeah,
That's a couple
maybe
answer.
Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite one because when I play that, I decide working in video games. Uh, it was really special to me.
I see, man. Anything else you want to add?
I'm really glad to stay here working together. As you mentioned, I love the fantasy setting. I started making games in RPG Maker when I was in the school around 20 or 25 years ago. And I'm really excited to working in a fantasy project. I do my best to maintain the visuals and the atmosphere of the game. It's really special and beautiful, and I know the entire art team uh, wants to do that too. So that is all.
Awesome. Welcome to the team too, man. Let's see. Then we have, is it is it Josha, like an Argentinian would say Jewel, or Yosha, like a female Yoshi?
I would say it's female Yoshi. Yeah.
Okay, so it's Yosha. Okay, so
Yeah.
Yosha has around 5 years of experience in game analytics, game economy, and product management for mobile games such as Power Rangers, Lazy Wars, Morphin Legends, AEW, Future Fighters. You work in these legends too. I taught you, as I remember correctly, part of what you know about game economies. Um,
Yeah.
Josha has 10-year training in astrophysics. She has a PhD in astrophysics, which she uses for a ton of number crunching. She really enjoys working with numbers, spreadsheets, SQL, and Python. And Josha is Yosha is probably the biggest head in the team, guys. So welcome. Uh, you want to say something to people listening?
Yeah, thank you for that great presentation. I'm flattered. So yeah, hello everyone. I'm super super glad to be here today, and of course, I'm happy to be working in Mirandus. This is definitely going to be, I think, my biggest professional challenge so far. And I'll be working hard, and of course, I'll be giving my best to get the game to a state that makes the team proud, but also that makes you, the players, very happy.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm really happy you're here. Um, she's a great product manager, guys. Let's see. Then we have our game designer, Mr. Kuro. Game designer with a strong technical background, which greatly helps at the moment of designing complex game systems. In that vein, Kuro has also worked as data analyst and product manager. He designed for DC Legends, among other games, and is currently solo developing his own indie title. You're designing your own game. Can you tell us what your personal game is about, Kuro?
Yes, hello everyone. It is basically a tiny narrative platformer that I'm currently developing in Godot, but I won't say anything else to not spoil it. Well, and aside of that, I wanted to greet everyone, tell you guys that I'm really excited to be part of the team, and obviously that I will give it all to deliver an unforgettable and amazing game.
Awesome. Welcome, Kuro. And we have our producer, Crumstone, producer and project manager. Crumstone has been working in the IT industry for over 12 years and in video games for around 6. He also has strong technical background in programming, which gives him the capability of understanding projects as a whole and from different perspectives. That's not something most producers can say. It's not a must-have, but it's a really nice to have a producer that understands tech. So these guys' job is to track, measure, and juggle with numbers to finally get things done. Hey, man, welcome to the team. How are you?
Hey, hello. Very good. It's actually a lot of numbers to juggle with, indeed. So I'm super thrilled to be here as a part of Mirandus, and like every member of the team, I'm dedicating to pushing as hard as possible to accomplish the goals. Being involved in this project feels particularly meaningful to me, as it's a game that I am genuinely eager to play. It's a beautiful game. In addition to that, I can say that I have a passion for retro gaming. I also have a published game around for Android, which is a very small game. So I do have some experience on game programming. And I also devote time improving my meager piano skills. So that's what I can say as for now.
Okay, so that's our producer. He's going to be in charge of, cracking the whip and making sure that things are on time and on track. So welcome to the team. And finally,
Yeah.
of course, we have Doug Sunny. He's a community manager for different Gala Games since 2022, being the interface between development teams and the community. 10 years of corporate life and several more years of experience in the Web3 world in other projects and chains. Welcome, man. Happy to have you here again.
Hey everyone, good to see everyone here watching our live stream. And of course, as I'm now the community manager for Mirandus, I want to assure everyone I'm always open to receive any message, NDM, suggestions, anything that you want to send to the team or send to me. I'm always open to hear and to chat and etc. So rest assured that any information that you send us, I'm going to pass to the team. So thank you.
Okay, so let's see. Let's move on to next steps. Basically, very simple here. But the team's main next step is producing a roadmap and start working on gameplay features. Big emphasis on gameplay features, plus solving the potential issues we're seeing with the backend, which we've mentioned a couple times before. The game is in different parts of the game are in different states. Basically, there are a couple things that were being reworked. If you play the last playtest, there are some features from there that no longer work because they were being changed from the ground up. So our job is to take all of that, figure out slices that we want to build, and start pushing out that in base of a roadmap that we'll start producing. So that's what the team will be working on from now on, and we'll have more information as soon as we can. Let's see. I see. Any questions? Oh, we can answer some questions later. Okay. So I see that we have some art to show, or have we already been showing it, Mr. Paul? Oh, okay. Let's see. Mr. Choco, you want to tell us what we're going to see? Is this
Sure. Sure, sure. Is loading yet, I think. Hmm. Yay. Yeah, well, we are starting to create new art for the game, but also it's really important to me and for the art team understand how this work or the engine works. So these are a few tests that we are creating just to understand the feeling of the game, uh, how the low poly assets work into this work. And I'm really happy with the results. Looks really beautiful. And you can notice it's really consistent with the visuals of the Mirandus. Okay. These are only tests, but it's part of the first process in the art team. We need to adjust our skills to the game. And also, as you can check there, we also create 3D models for the first concept that we did.
Looks very good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was answering some questions in Discord. Okay, so Choco and his art team, we have people were asking, oh, we have 7 leads on screen, right? We have 4 more people in the team. That includes the whole art pipeline. So that's the concept artist, 3D modeler, and 3D animator, plus another engineer that's working with our front end lead. We have open positions right now, and we have a bunch of candidates in the pipeline. So we're growing the team aggressively here in Chile. Oh, I think someone has a hot mic or an open microphone. But
Yes, I think it's Choco who is already working.
yeah, Choco is working
Hold
hard.
it, hold it.
Got it. So let's move on to questions. So Mr. Duck set up a form for you to send some questions. We'll answer as many as we can right now. starting with, will the vision of needing a deed slot to place a building remain? And are the original deed sizes remaining? Who wants to take this one?
I can take that one.
Go ahead.
Okay, so regarding the deeds, our current plan is to keep that same vision. So you will still need a slot to place the buildings in the deed. And regarding sizes, we're still analyzing the sizes of each of the deeds that we have to see if they work with the sizes that were previously set, or if we need to make some tweaking to those. So probably we will have some news in the upcoming months. But so far, we haven't made any changes to that.
Okay, let's see. Next question is, will Mirandus still be hard? We enjoy the difficulty. So I have a concern with, like people speaking for the whole community or for larger target audiences. But I understand part of the appeal for some of you was the difficulty. I'm guessing Kuro, you want to take this one?
Yes, sure. For that one, I would say that up until now, the game will be difficult enough for you guys to enjoy playing it, but also considering not to be a turn off for new players. So we want to find that particular balance.
Okay, let's see. Will building tiers still matter, such as a large archery having more variety than a regular archery or stand? Um, Joshua, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. So in principle, we are keeping this design for buildings, so tiers would still be there and they would still matter. In case we decide to make any changes in the future, of course, we are going to share this with the community. But so far, we haven't made any changes to the building tiers, so we're keeping that for now.
Okay, let's see. Are you working on tavern games or focusing only in Mirandus's main game?
Okay, I can answer that one too.
Okay, okay, go ahead.
So yeah, so the answer is no. We are not working on tavern games for now. We are aware that there was an original plan to have a new tavern game every quarter, but our current plan is to focus all of our efforts on the main game. And of course, we want to develop the remaining features for Mirandus itself. So after we do that, maybe we can go back and add some tavern games. But at this moment, that is not our first priority.
Got it. So main priority is the main game, not tavern games. Okay, cool. Could we have a monthly AMA/town hall for Mirandus? So we intend to schedule periodic live streams indeed. How often is yet to be defined, but monthly sounds about right for the current movement of the game. I don't want to get, this is not CEW, where we have a competition every week, and thus it makes sense to have a weekly call because there are changes happening, at least twice a week in that game. This is in a completely different position. So I think monthly sounds about right, but we'll define that and inform it with Doug. Let's see. Mirandus had a decent testnet. In order to maintain an interest and at least a minimal level of gameplay, why did you keep the next testnet live? So there's a lot of things that we still need to work on to be able to provide a service as such. Thus, most of our efforts will be aimed towards creating Mirandus's core gameplay experience. Those are the things that are missing or even could have been broken from the latest playtest. Not broken because of any mistakes, but they were being reworked, right? So they stopped working as you experience them. So we need to fix some of that. We need to work on combat. We need to work on setting down buildings and so on. Those things are not there, not completely. Our plan is to at some point put the game up for a test and never bring it down, and we'll keep building on top of it. That is a plan that I discussed with with the former team before this happened, um, and they seem to have agreed to that. So that's good. We want to keep that. Next question. What do you intend to do in order to regain? Well, did I miss a question? Oh, no, that's the one. So, what do you intend to do in order to regain the confidence of the Mirandus community? Okay, so there's a few things that we will do and that we can do. First off, Doug will be in constant contact with the community in Discord and in other manners. Some of the leads can also appear from time to time to get feedback and discuss specific issues. Second, we also want to do a regularly scheduled town hall. We discussed potentially doing it monthly, as I just said, while the game is not like in a live ops state, it's not launched. If we get into a live ops cadence relatively soon, then we can maybe change that cadence for the town halls. And finally, we need to provide a high-level roadmap. So the team is already working on this. Now, you may know from my work, you see that if some of you play the game too, is that roadmaps we provide them, but they can change since teams and projects are flexible. That's the good thing about these type of projects, is that we can pivot. But every change or pivot can be communicated and explained. For example, some features are moved around, some are given more priority, and so on. But I do want to have a public roadmap that you guys can check out and we can discuss every time we have this call. Let's see. I see, in my opinion, the graphics on Mirandus are blocky. Can we count on improved graphics, or is it the current generation the standard moving forward? I think that's a question for our art director. Chopper, you have any answer to this?
Yeah. First of all, part of the identity in Mirandus are the low poly assets and the minimalist visual. That is the soul of the project. But also how the lighting, how the colors works in this ethereal work are a big part too. So the idea is expand the visuals. We are working really hard checking what we can do with the engine, checking the old files, the material, how the lighting works, to take the current assets and improve or reduce in the best way possible. And also one of the idea is try to connect or reflect the feeling that we can show in the concept art into the game. I'm checking Discord too. Someone asked for the art vision always was dark, gritty, and scary. Yeah, you have right. It's part of the idea too. For that reason, we are working really hard, checking the lining, how the clothes work, etc. We know that the idea is continue with that vision, but also we need to explore more colorful options, not just to put into the game, because it's really useful to understand how Unity can work in the best way possible for the project. I think that is my answer, Musashi.
Musashi. Okay, man. Okay, so that's a good answer. I mean, let me check. So there's a question. This is for the people on stage. There's a question that I saw from Groctis MOM. What does each member of the team like most about Mirandus? So I see that Choco already answered. No, sorry, Art Mitch already answered. If you're not answering a question on stage, please go to Discord and try to explain your own for a minute. Like, what do you like most about the game? And I'll keep going on with the questions. Next question is, what tasks has the new team completed thus far, and what tasks are up next? You can do it! Exclamation mark. Thank you! Exclamation mark. Hey, that's really nice. I really appreciate the encouraging messages that we've received. There's been some not so encouraging messages too, but we choose to focus on the encouraging ones. So who wants to talk about this? Kuro, maybe, game designer?
Yes, I can. And thanks for the kind words, guys. It really means a lot. So I assume that, as you already know, Mirandus is like a really, really, really huge project. So we are practically still going through documentation, But as Musashi said, in the upcoming weeks, we plan on working on the game's roadmap. I don't know
Okay.
if someone else has something to add.
What about you, Yosha?
Yeah, I can add a few things. So I would say that also besides documentation that Kuda just mentioned, we also worked a lot in understanding the state of the project. I know engineering was working a lot on understanding how the systems work. We were also testing our ability to make modifications. So it was especially the art team. They already showed a few of the new concepts and they implemented these concepts and did all the pipeline to see how things actually are working. We were also checking the public promises, and I want to thank the people because they help a lot on Discord. Because I know you guys sent a lot of things in a file. I think it was a spreadsheet that Doug sent us to check, and there was a lot of information, and it was really helpful. So I want to thank you for that. So that helped us a lot to check all the public promises that were made, also checking all the NFTs that were sold. And overall, we were making a very general assessment of the game to start prioritizing our next tasks and, of course, making our roadmap.
Okay, and since this is a question about tasks completed and tasks that are up next, I think that's a good call out to our producer. So, Cromstone, anything to add to this?
Well, yes, as they already said, it's a lot to do as for now. Um, we are, of course, that focusing also on gameplay. I think for the gameplay and roadmap are both the keywords now that we have the team going. So for the next steps, we are trying to get things done as fast as possible to focus on deliverables and finally have something to show you, which is something that you could play with and interact. That's the main goal we have on medium term.
Okay, thank you for that. So, let's see. Next up, Mirandus will be the same with the new team, or will be a different game with other type? I'm gonna read the quotes because this is weird. Mirandus will be the same with the new team, or will be a quote different game with other quote type of art. Team lead Fernio, you want to say something about this?
Yeah, I can take that one. We will try to keep as much as we can from the former team's vision so that the game doesn't deviate from the original concept. That includes also the art side of things. There's a ton of work already done, and we have to leverage that so that we can get Mirandus and in the players' hands as soon as possible.
Okay, so the mandate right now is let's keep as much as possible from the former team's vision, right? Including art and gameplay.
Yeah.
I saw some comments on make Miranda's hard. I kind of agree with that. Like, I think that one of the appeal of the game is for that to be hard, but we also want to be somewhat welcoming to new players, right? Any game needs a steady trickle in of new players that will stay, right? So we also want to be careful of if we make it hard, how do we make it welcoming, right? And those things don't necessarily align. We'll find a way, of course, but the important thing is that new players are welcome to this game and don't bounce off.
Balance is a keyword, maybe.
Balance is a key. Yeah, that's exactly right. So balance is a key word there. There's got to be really hard things in the game, really big challenges to overcome for high level players too. But I wouldn't want a newbie to come in and say, "Hey, what's going on?" and be squashed immediately, right? Because you know, in 2024, players have way more options, right? So frustration doesn't necessarily mean a good thing for us. But we need to keep a balance. So we'll keep working with you guys on that balance. Let's see. Next question. How are we on time? Oh, we're good on time. So let's see. Mirandus, oh, we already answered that one. What are the main priorities you are focused on heading into the next future playtest? Okay, so before I answer this, remember, please, leads, people on stage, try to answer Grokly's question in Discord so that they get to know you too individually. So again, the question is, what are the main priorities you are focused on heading into the next future playtest? I can answer that. So our main priority now is creating a roadmap. That the roadmap focuses on actual interactable promise features. That's really important. Actual interactable promise features. So hopefully in each subsequent playtest, you'll be able to get another slice of the game, right? I think that the game has very clear goals, right? This has very clear promises. You guys bought deeds, you have buildings, you have exemplars, you have all these things that have very specific promises attached to gameplay to them. So, having a player being able to set down its town and then rent out spaces for specific buildings, and then those buildings having quests that players can take, right? That's not in the game, and we need to build that because that's the core of the loop of the game, right? So that's my take. Of course, the team is going to set up their own roadmap. I'm going to oversee it, but I want that every time that you get into a new playtest or we have a new version up, you see a piece of that gameplay loop puzzle being added. That's how I work, at least.
Yes, I totally agree. But like part of the game needs to feel at least fresh, like you're seeing something new every time.
Right, you're seeing something new, but also that completes the whole loop, right?
Hmm.
We're working on something similar in the box game. We have half a loop at this point, and we're completing that before it goes out. If some of you also dab in box, there's a game coming out relatively soon for that, and it's the same thing. So you have a big loop that you plan, but you need to build all the pieces, right? So what I want is for us to build the pieces and not get distracted with, for example, tavern games, right? Tavern games is cool, but it's not the core game, right? We need to work on the core game. Let's see. Next question. What's the biggest obstacle you see in developing Mirandus? I think that our game designer Kuro may want to answer that.
Yes, for sure. And this is a tough one. I would say that game mechanics is something really special and one of the biggest obstacles that we have on the game because there's practically a lot of different game mechanics nowadays in the game that still need to be built and also tested. But nevertheless, it is something that we can definitely achieve to do.
Got it. Let's see. Talking about obstacles, I think that our producer may want to chime in. What's your take on this?
Yes. Well, yes. What I see as the biggest obstacle is that the road ahead is quite steep, and I say that because the expectations are high. I would also have high expectations if I was uh, one of you, one of the gamers are expecting a game, and being up to their expectations is definitely something that's going to be tough. That's the biggest obstacle I see ahead.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. Let's see. Well, before I move on to the last question, I see one. Sorry if I don't answer your questions live, guys, in Discord, because I'm talking and trying to lead this, so sometimes I don't get to answer some of them. I see one from Sly Groove, the latest one. There's a lot of talk about meeting promises. I think it's very important to not lose the big picture. I'd really like to hear or read about the overall vision for the game. I'm concerned that some of the heart and soul will be lost if the team is so focused in checking off specific boxes. We're not checking off boxes like it's I don't know, just a basic grocery shop checklist. We understand the overall vision of the game. There's tons of documentation that the former team left. We had extensive talks with them about what they wanted to achieve, what were their goals. There were some things that they were not sure about, that they were trying to pivot from or check either internally with the community. So we'll be taking up that job. But the people in this team, they're all great professionals. They're passionate about video games and they're passionate about fantasy games and RPGs. So I think that you'll see that there's going to be passion imbued into the actual releases that you'll see. Let's see. I see some other questions, but I'll take them later because I have the last question from our forum, which is the transition period over? And I can talk about that. The main transition period is over. That means that we had the bulk of the former team still here for a couple of weeks. We had tons of meetings. We had tons of knowledge share. Most of them were very professional. It was a really nice process. Some members of the former team are still here. They stay for longer to help make that as smooth as possible. So we really appreciate their commitment to Mirandus, to the community, and to and because of their professionalism, right? The current team is still researching the code base and documentation, but yes, we are prepared to move out of the main transition period and into what lies ahead, which is roadmap, playtest at some point, and so on. I'm hoping that answers that question. How are you looking? How is it looking on stage? How's everybody? Do you see any important question in Discord? Okay, I see one here at 777. Tavern games were still a promise. It was one of the drivers of people buying taverns. Please don't nerf taverns. And I don't intend to, but the main core loop of the game is in exploring combat, deeds, land, renting, objectives, player-made quests, and so on. So tavern games will be there at some point, but it shouldn't be the focus of the main development chunk that we're going to do next. Let's see.
I'm not sure if you already addressed the one question. I was checking Discord, but any idea of the next play test? Any prediction or dates?
About the next playtest? So I think I mentioned it before, but basically the game, I don't think it's in any state where it can be playtested anytime soon. You will probably see less than the last playtest because some features like combat were basically started from scratch in a way from the former team. So those things are kind of broken. So we need to pick that up, start building it again, and the other main concern I have, which I mentioned before, is the backend. I think that ties into another question that I see right here, which is Mirandus still a one-world vision? What is the goal for total and concurrent player count capacity? Our fear, and we need to benchmark, and we still need to do some more assessment, is that the game right now, the backend architecture, doesn't support a lot of players, per zone or overall. And that's me being maybe too honest with you guys. But it is a concern that we have that we're working on. It's possible that we'll have to revamp a lot of the server architecture. In fact, that's something that the former team started like a month ago, probably like a month before the big change. So that's the main impediment to having a playtest relatively soon. But as I said before, my plan, which I discussed with McCarthy at some point, was we need to have the game out as soon as possible. It doesn't matter if it's broken. It doesn't matter if there's issues with it. Just have the game out and build it live. And it took some convincing, but in the end, McCarthy said yes. And that's still our plan, right? He probably mentioned it in a fireside at some point. I do want the game, when it's safe from a server perspective, to have it always on. And we can kill the world as he was intending, as the former team was intending. So reset everything every week or every month or every X cadence, but keep it live. And every time we have something new to add, we add it on top of it. I don't want to have big stretch of times where there is no game available. I would much rather have an early access approach, where you can see the game live and you can give your feedback and you can tell us what you think, and you can suggest changes. And I think that's the best way to build this game, instead of waiting 8 months or 10 months to have a different playtest. Let's see. Is there any other question, Doug?
Let me see here. That's more like a generic question, but one of the players asked about how much autonomy do you guys have with building the game. So I think it's a good thing to talk about.
Autonomy. Well, we're following a general vision that it hasn't changed, right? I think that the only thing that we initially wanted to bring to the table, when we were supposed to work together with the farmer team, was having the game up, as I said just before, early access at some point, and never bring it back down, and do some sort of live ops on top of it. Having bosses appear, having adding zones once a week or once a month or once whenever, right? So build the map uh, month by month or week by week until we have the whole continent, right? So right now we have free range to continue that vision. That hasn't been asked to change, except for having the game out relatively soon. I hope that answers that question.
Mm-hmm. And also there are a few questions about the location of the servers, but the team leads already answered that's going to be in north of the United States, mostly maybe North Virginia, of course, related to the server location of AWS and other providers and etc. So just
Right.
rephrase them.
I see Get Up Robot saying, Joshua, them a PhD in astrophysics. Well, that's why we hire her for gaming. What, like 6 years ago, I think.
5.
Yeah,
Around 5.
5 years. Yeah, so
Yeah.
her expertise in number crunching was really useful for product management and economy design, right? And I'm hoping that her expertise that she brings, plus what I taught her at some point in previous companies, plus your input, can help us shape a better economy and tokenomics for the game.
Yeah, and can I add something? I also want to thank the work that the guys did on sending a document with tokenomics proposals, because that's a very, I would say, engaged players, because that's a lot of work. And it was like a 26-page document that you guys sent. And it's very helpful, and it shows a lot of commitment, and it shows how much you guys really love the game. So I was impressed, and I wanted to say thanks for that work. And of course, we're going to take it into consideration.
Okay, there's a question for you, Joshua. I want to say Hosha for some reason.
Hosha.
Hosha. It's Joshua. So Joshua, there's asking Smiley Monster asking, does she play games and have gaming experience? If so, which MMOs?
Oh, so no, I'm not an MMO girl, but I do play games. So I started playing Nintendo when I was very young. My first console was the Nintendo. I also had Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Nintendo 64. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Nintendo. I would say my favorite game is Zelda. I really love Majora's Mask. It's one of my favorite Zeldas. I also really like Ocarina of Time, and of course, the new one, Tears of the Kingdom. I love the end of that game. I think I even cried a bit. So yeah, I'm a big Zelda fan. I also really like Portal. I think it's very funny, like the story and the jokes and everything. So Portal 2, I really enjoyed that game. But yeah, I think those are my two favorites.
Got it. That's awesome. As I said, I think that I mentioned this in the Walking Dead town hall. Um, but economy is economy. Economy is not too complex. Like game economy is not too complex in the sense that you just define, what currencies there are, how you get them, and how you use them, right? And then try to keep that in balance. We've done that for many years. So an MMO is not necessarily that different. What is different is the tokenomics or blockchain aspect of it, because that interrupts everything. A game economy is closed, right? It doesn't matter if it's an MMO or a RPG or whatever, right? Any type of mobile game. But the complicated part is taking into account the outside, the inputs and outputs that blockchain permit. That you can take your currencies out of the game and you can bring them into the game, right? And that I think is the biggest challenge more than anything else. But I think that Joshua can take it, right? And we can work together on making that happen. Let's see. So, Doug, any other questions?
More like generic ones, maybe any plans for the Mirandus economy, or also about the exemplars, if you have more like information about how it's gonna work, like the same that there was.
There are no changes to any specific design stated by the former team.
Okay.
Right now, we're not changing the features or the stat design, anything that you have heard about. I don't think it's being touched. We just need to build it. That's the main thing. I see one comment from Groktis saying back off, Fossman is research. Meaning when I said that Joshua plays too many games. Joshua plays too many games. I think that's something that I said to all the leads, is that we need them to play a few of MMOs, because we have tons of experience in games, in game development, in mobile, casual, console, PC. But MMOs are a different thing. We need to make sure that we're up to the task, right? So there's research being done by the leads, like research meaning playing MMO, which is the best kind of research. Let's see, any other concern? Subspace, Musashi, does your team understand why MMOs have been in a state of stagnation since WoW? I have my personal opinions on that. We have discussed it as a team, but why don't you give us your opinion on that? There are many different ways of looking at the state of MMOs. There are a couple of ones that have been popular for a long time, like Final Fantasy 14 after the revamp. But I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on that? What do you think MMOs need in the current landscape of 2024, where you have, and this is my take, personal take as Musashi. I think that there's too many offers. MMOs usually require a lot of time and commitment, and then you have 1,000 games that you can download in your pocket every day, and they're all different. You can test them for 5 minutes and then dump them, right? So there's some issue with that, with how the market has changed. But that shouldn't change that a fun and funly built game can be successful. I think that this game has all the potential to be successful, and all the leads think that too. Or is anyone on stage that doesn't think that? Let me know right now so I can fire you and we can get someone else.
I don't think so.
Okay, so everyone online, that's good. I see Smiley Monster saying, please play Albion Online and old school RuneScape. You will lose your depth into them. Just saying. I mean, uh, I'm always of the mind that if you're doing research, that should be work hours, right? If you have 8 hours a day, you can spend 1 hour, 2 hours playing a game, which is um, in case it's research. If they're playing something else that doesn't have anything to do with this, then that's not research. That's just being an asshole. But I trust this team not to do that. Uh, oh, I'm being told that we're 4 minutes away from closing, so I don't know if we have anything else to answer. Any comments, Doug? Any questions?
Not questions, more like comments. People saying about economy, material are great, and etc. Talking about the fun, that's also important that you just comment. And of course, even people reminding everyone that of course we need to be patient. There's still a lot of things to do about the game. So don't see any other new question here.
Okay. What about the leads? Anything else you want to share, guys?
Well, on my side, just maybe something Musashi can answer that. Basically, what I have seen on Discord is at least everyone. The main concern is about how if we will preserve or not the former team vision about the game. So I don't know the well the exact answer for that. At least I can give my opinion, and my opinion is that basically we are not here to change everything. We are the current team, and that doesn't mean that we're gonna change the entire game. That's not how it works. So we are just getting used to the project. I think we are all agree here. The game is great. The work behind it, it's amazing, and the community too. So I don't see why to change everything. So I don't know what do you think, Musachi?
Yeah, no, I mean, I like the game. I like RPGs. Um, I'm more of a JRPG kind of guy, but I love RPGs in general. I like the fantasy setting. I think the community is very passionate, which I think is really cool because it means that we can build this game with you. I'm hoping that when we have a playtest at some point, you will give us all the feedback that you want, and we can take that and use that for further improvements. So yeah, I'm also really happy with the lead team that we gather. We also have a few other people in the team. As I said before, we are hiring actively and aggressively. Part of the transition period was this core team of leads determining how many more people we need for what we need to do. So now that we know how many people we need and in what positions, we're actively searching for them, right? So I'm hoping that we'll have a full team in a few months, and we'll start working on actual code like now.
Yes, definitely. I also would add that having a passionate community is definitely a great encouragement for us to do our best to finally deliver. And also, it's going to be fun because we're going to be playing Mirandus very often. So it's something I look forward to.
Sorry, can you repeat that last part?
But also, we are going to be playing Mirandus very often.
Oh
That's
yeah,
something
yeah.
I look after.
So we have the game running. It's interesting. We already know what things are missing from a proper playtest. So yeah, we'll just keep going and keep informing you. I think that we are on time. So thank you everybody for coming to hear what we're gonna say. Present the new team, the current Mirandus team. It's a team that it's growing, but it has really strong leads. People who are very capable and passionate about games and fantasy games. Um, and yeah, we'll let you know when we have the next town hall. I'm hoping that next time it becomes a steady thing. So don't hesitate to tag our leads in Discord or myself. Right, you have questions. Some questions we can answer, some questions we can't. Sometimes we can't come and answer right away or at all because we're working. We
On the
need to
game. We're
we need
building the
to
game.
build. Yeah, we need to build a game. But if you have questions, tag us or tag Doug, and he can let us know of anything big happening or any big concerns, and we can address them. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
And
everybody. Thanks for
thank
being
you,
here.
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks for being
you.
Thank
passionate,
you, everyone.
guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
all the
Thank
leaders on
you.
stage. Thank you, Paul, for all you do, and subscribe. Thank you, guys. Bye.